Last two games the Penguins have. Incredible the way they've been able to turn on the defense against this team. The Penguins have won 10 straight in the playoffs and can tie a record tonight. No team has ever won 11 straight on the way to the Cup. In clinching games of these playoffs, the Penguins have allowed 1 goal in each of those games while scoring 13. And no Norris Division team has ever won the Stanley Cup since the divisional format was designed in 1975.
These are the scratches for the Penguins tonight. Grant Jennings, Jeff Chikrin, Joey Mullen, Jay Caulfield, Peter Taglianetti, Dave McCulloch, Mike Needham, Wendell Young, and Kenny Priestley, Jay Caulfield, I mentioned him, and Jeff Daniel. For the Hawks, their scratches this evening: Keith Brown, Cam Russell, Tony Herkus, Brad Lauer, Dan Vincelette, Dean McCammon, Tony Horacek, Mike Peluso, a scratch tonight, Carl Dykes, Adam Bennett, and goaltender Jimmy White. And Wayne Mesmer will sing our national anthem. Enjoy it from Chicago.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, save us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I'm just happy to be a part of it all, believe me. This is an unbelievable feeling here in this building. And it is a shame that this building will be torn down and the new one built directly across the street just from the atmosphere alone of coming here. Andy Van Hellemond works his second game in the finals.
And Andy Van Hellemond working in the finals for the 16th straight season.
Swede Knox and Ray Scapinello will be the two linesmen. Don Koharski, the backup tonight. Tom Barrasso, the starting goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins. What
Record of 15-5 and a 2.71 goals against average. He now has the top save percentage in the NHL in the playoffs, .911. Eddie Belfour, record of 12-4, 2.36 goals against average.
And the puck drop. Mario Lemieux out here with Kevin Stevens and Rick Tocchet, and the Penguins steer it up towards the Hawks line. Red Center will take command of the biscuit. He's out here with Stefan Matteau and Dirk Graham. And the Hawks' Chris Chelios comes up. Stevens will belt him, and off the puck he goes, and it's on to the Penguin line. And Roberts avoids a check by Dirk Graham. Here's Stevens up into the Chicago end, trying to get to the loose puck. Chelios lost his stick, but the Hawks steer it to center, and it's Dirk Graham. Right back into the Penguins end, and Rick Tocchet steers it up. Here's Lemieux with Stevens open on the left wing. We'll give it to him, back to Mario, left wing circle. Shoots it right on Belfour, the save. As Lemieux let the shot go from the left wing circle. And cleared away off the boards and back up into Penguin real estate. And the Hawks are called for icing here in the first minute of play. Well, Lemieux with the first scoring chance for either club here in the first moments of play in game number 4 of the Stanley Cup final round.
You see Pierre Maguire with his hand on top of his head, not because he doesn't have a lot of hair up there, but because he's signaling to his team that they have to make a line change. That's his hand signal to the guys on the ice that it's time to make a change. He changes the defense for Scotty Bowman. Scotty Bowman and Mike Keenan both realize that you can't get this job done unless you have the horses, and Keenan said that before this series, but there aren't many guys who get the horses in position to win the race the way Scotty Bowman does. He's the greatest at it in the history of the game.
Scotty going for his 6th Stanley Cup. 1-5 with the Montreal Canadiens. He was involved in a couple of sweeps also with that Montreal club. Here's Busquets defensively. Roenick's line out here with Larmer and Jocelyn Lemieux for the Chicago Blackhawks, and they spin it to the Penguins in. Barrasso will leave it, but Paul Stanley is heavily hit. Here to the near side. Picked up by Sean McEachran. Tries to clear it out. Marchment gets the puck. Swinging in between the circles. Now Ronnie Francis drops it right back to center. Rod Busquets will put it down the boards. Intercepted by Ulf Samuelsson. He gives it right to Rod Busquets, the former Penn. And he drills it in behind the Pittsburgh goal. Stanton defensively works it up the wood, and it caroms back into Chicago ice. I think Robbie Brown could have played that puck, and they ruled that he could have, so there'll be no icing. Robbie, the former Penguin, also leaving the puck for Brian Marchment. Marchment's pass on to center, intercepted by Jimmy Pack. And to Shell Samuelsson, the Penguins whack it right back into the Chicago net area. Eddie Belfour leaves it near side. Jaromir Jagr, Maloney, and Trottier, the trio. Jagr with a shot. He shoots and scores from the right wing circle, and the Penguins take a 1-0 lead. Oh, scratch my back with a hacksaw. What a vicious wrist shot by Jaromir Jagr. And the Penguins take an early 1-0 lead here in Chicago.
First goal for Jagr in the series since that tremendous goal he scored in the third period of Game 1. He just circled off the boards. Troy Loney made a beeline down the boards to pop the puck loose. Jagr picked it up, walked out, and snapped it over the stick glove of Eddie Belfour. Jagr does not pull the trigger that often with a wrist shot in that situation, but he had a lot of net to work with, and he put it in off the far post.
Number 11 in the playoffs for Jaromir Jagr, and the Penguins have a 1-0 lead.
At 1:37. Pittsburgh goal scored by Jagr, assisted by Loney at 1:37.
The only assist to Troy Loney of Pittsburgh, and the Penguins jump out to a 1-0 advantage here against the Blackhawks. And the Penguins set it up from their own end, and Larry Murphy throw it ahead of the Chicago zone. It went right over the head of Belfour and into the seats, and we'll take a timeout. 18:13 left here in the first period. Pittsburgh 1, Chicago nothing.
This ESPN Classic program is brought to you by
Period. Jaromir Jagr scoring in 1:37 of the opening period, and tapped ahead up the right wing boards of the Penguin zone, and Gordy Roberts will get it up to Lemieux. He's shouldered by Jeremy Roenick, and Dirk Graham starts right back to the Penguin line, and he drills it in. Barasso's going to clear it away from the net, coming off the near wing. Jagr tried to clear. He is hit heavily by Roenick. Chelios got the puck, and Jagr got hurt in that play, but he's slow in getting up and back on. Roenick really belted him into the board. Busquets has to return to the Chicago end to take command of the puck. Outlet pass. Roenick looked up. He saw Loney and now whacks Loney as he went by him from behind. And I'll tell you one thing. Roenick was looking for Loney that time. He put a devastating check on Jaromir Jagr, but the fans have his number also, and it's cleared by Pittsburgh up the length of the ice, and Chelios will touch it. And icing called against the Penguins. If you're going to use fire, and that certainly Roenick is capable of that, one of the better hitters in the league for his size at 170 pounds, but he's got to be aware that he's going to get banged back, and he was in that situation. And although they were making a line change, he looked up to see who was around before he made that play, and then he turned and he whacked Loney as he went off the ice. Brian Trottier with Yuri Hrdina and Troy Loney. So early on, Scotty Bowman getting a lot of people involved in the game in this first period. And Chelios will pair up here now with Igor Kravchuk. Kravchuk will work the right point. Kravchuk shoots it right down low. A good save. Rebound. Barrasso stopped it right in front on Steve Larmer. Larmer had a chance on the rebound right in front, but he couldn't get it by Barrasso. And the Penguins remain in the lead 1-0.
Well, I asked Barrasso about that glove hand that was so successful the other night. And he said that when I'm doing that, that's a sign that I'm seeing the puck extremely well. And he said yesterday he was interviewed extensively at the hotel as the media came over to the Penguins hotel. And he said that what he's learned over the years in this league is the ability to win and play well despite the fact that he's not seeing the puck well, or that he doesn't feel good on a particular night. So that's the key to success, is being able to fight through that stuff, and that's what he's learned to do in the years he's been in the league.
And Tommy said before Game 3 he really didn't feel all that comfortable. Didn't think he had a good warm-up, but all of a sudden he got in and it was right there. Trottier shoots it back to the Chicago goal. Loney looks for the puck. It comes off the near corner. And Yuri Hrdina will shoot it in behind the Chicago net. Pittsburgh leading 1-0. That's the same score they won by here in Game 3. Stan up the right side. Shoots it towards the goal. Blocked off a skate. And the Hawks will take it in counterattack. Long shot by Larmer. Avoids Tom Barrasso in the Penguin net. It slams off the glass to the near side. On the Kiram, Hrdina looks for the puck. All Samuelsson over there putting some pressure on one of the Hawks, trying to keep him pinned in the corner. That's Larmer. And still fighting for the puck will be the Penguins, and they get it out back to center ice. Into Chicago territory, and Chelios coming back to play the puck. On to center ice, and it's grabbed now by Roenick. Roenick back on the ice surface, gets the puck to Chelios, and Chelios Turns around, avoiding a check by Kevin Stevens, and on to Stefan Matteau. Right wing pass. Here's Graham into the Penguins. Here comes to the backhander stop. Rebound score. Dirk Graham got his own rebound back. And the Chicago Blackhawks have tied the game at 1. I'll tell you, that was dangerously close to being an offside play there. But the Hawks get the tying goal. Dirk Graham finally gets one by Barrasso here in Chicago, and the Hawks have tied the game.
Barrasso stopped the first shot. The rebound came out and hit a skate or something, went right back into the net. I'd like to see that one again. Matteau, the man who made the play to him. Graham appeared to be way in
I'm telling you,
the
I think he
offensive
was
zone when he
offside.
got it. Barrasso made the save. He got his own rebound and put it in. Good play by Graham, but he looked like he was 10 feet over the blue line when that puck was sent over the line by Matteau.
Well, I wish we had a different angle at it, but I do not believe, I just don't think he was onside. Here's Lemieux now, and Tocchet teaming up. Lemieux to the right side of Kevin Stevens, cuts around in on Busquets. Backhander, he shoots and scores. Kevin Stevens gets it right back. Oh, look out, Loretta. The Penguins have taken the lead, 2-1. Lemieux to Stevens, and the Penguins answer that goal, coming right back to cash in at 6:33, 12 seconds after Graham had scored.
And this off Mike Keenan's lips, Dominic. And here comes Dominik Hasek, the Czechoslovakian goaltender. Lemieux pushed it over, a little saucer pass to Stevens. He cut in on the backhand. Belfour was lunging for that puck again with a stick. And right through the 5-hole. He did not play that one at all. Belfour looking as if he's fighting the puck again. And that'll be all for him, at least for now. Keenan has been known to play musical goaltenders and send his goalies back in after pulling him in situations like this.
Now, Dirk Graham's goal for the Blackhawks, his 5th of the playoffs, 2nd of the series. At 6:21, Matteau assisting. That was at 6:21, and a dozen seconds later, Kevin Stevens notches his 13th of the playoffs. Mario Lemieux has 1 assist. Chelios also assisting on that goal by Graham. And the backhander by Stevens giving the Penguins the advantage again. And Dominik Hasek feeds his first action here in this series.
For years, Hasek was considered the best goaltender in Europe.
He has appeared in 2 playoff games this year. 0-1 with a 2.31 goals against average. And this young guy is going to come on for the Blackhawks.
He plays that butterfly style also, and he'll also put that stick flush to the ice, lay it down across his pads to block shots between the legs. And the style is similar to Eddie Belfour's in that regard.
Hasek was an 11th round draft choice of the Blackhawks back in 1983 when it wasn't real fashionable to draft people. Now in front, here's Graham tying the game as he got open in front. And Dirk Graham gets his second, and we're off and running again. We're tied at 2. Do you believe this? 3 goals in less than a minute. Dirk Graham gets his second and his 6th of the playoffs, and it is 2-2.
Well, the Hawks were looking
6:51, 30 seconds, 3 goals.
Mike Keenan thought that his team would be able to play a little looser here tonight and generate more offense. That was a good pass off the boards to Graham, and all he had to do was one time and into the net.
I'll tell you, the guy that's putting things up on the scoreboard doesn't even have time to punch him into the computer. They're coming so fast. Chelios sliding the puck over to Graham, and the Hawks have made it 2-2. Well, here we go. The left point, Igor Kravchuk swinging over the right side. And the Penguins in, and Samuelson will bounce it up ice back into the Chicago zone, and Hasek will play the puck for the first time tonight. The Chicago goaltender dumps it back to center. Roenick runs into Paul Stanton. Penguins and Hawks tied at 2 here in the first period. On to the right wing of the Penguins in. Noonan shoots one, and that'll miss the Penguin net. Third off the near boards, and Igor Kravchuk put it behind the net. Samuelson knocked down one of the Hawks. It was Brian Noonan. Chicago's going to get a power play. And the Hawks have a man advantage. Samuelson will be penalized. An interference call will return, tied at 2.
You are more than a number in a credit report. More than a balance due. More.
Tonight, with the Penguins being able to score the only goal of the hockey game, they were able to keep them quiet throughout the game. Now we're getting a real taste of what the crowd can mean to the Hawks here in Chicago.
Well, Chicago has just 1 power play goal and 12 chances against the Penguins in this series. Samuelson, the interference call at 7:28.
Now the Penguins turned the puck over in their own end, and Chelios was able to throw it right back to the net to Graham.
Roenick, Larmer, and Noonan up front for the Hawks on the power play. Top of the circle, right side of the Penguins in, and Chelios and Kravchuk, the 2-point men. And Ronnie Francis and Mario Lemieux, the 2 penalty killers. And it's pulled to the right point of the Penguins in, over to Chelios now, center point, shoots one, deflected, and Lemieux will steer it up the sideboards and up into the Chicago net area. Dominic Hasek stops the play for defenseman Igor Kravchuk, working the points out here are Chelios and Kravchuk. And Chris Chelios, who has set up both Hawks goals, played up the corner boards. Neroni goes behind the net, turns, and he can't spin it around in front. Somebody got a piece of it. Over to the right side of the Penguins in to Kravchuk. Kravchuk banking in behind the Penguin net. It comes near side to Jeremy Roenick. Roenick to Larmer of Chicago, tries to center, and Shel Samuelson whacked that by Noonan. Pressured back into the corner, and he made a good play to help keep the puck in. Larmer up the right side. And it's off his stick and right to Mario Lemieux. And Lemieux comes up, and he'll flip it up to center ice. On the move, Larry Murphy has it to the Chicago line. And Murphy's hit from behind by Chelios. A penalty coming up again. Chelios elbowed him. What's going on with Chelios? And Larry Murphy. Chelios just flattened him from behind with an elbow. Blindsided him.
He may have
Goodness
knocked him out
gracious.
cold. He's out cold, I think.
Give me a break. You're on a power play. I mean, he wasn't after him according to Chelios in the last game, but this is, I mean, you're on a power play.
Oh.
8:17, the time of the elbowing penalty to Chris Chelios. So there'll be an equal strength for 1:11, and Chelios in the penalty box. And the Hawks fail to score in their first power play opportunity with Ulf Samuelsson off. Game tied at 2. Murphy taken to the Penguin bench.
Elbows are something that Chris Chelios is famous for. Or infamous might be a better word.
And Phil Bourque now on for the Penguins with Bob Airy. Graham's over talking to Van Helleman, I guess pleading the fact that he didn't get the arm up into him, but it looked as though he got the arm, the shoulder, the elbow right into the back of his head. So the face-off will be in the Chicago zone with 11:43 left here. It's just very interesting, and all of a sudden Murphy has become the target of Chelios, not only late in Game 3, where he pleaded that he thought the Penguins were going to score a goal at that moment, and then coming right back out to nail him from behind to put him on the ice. And now the Hawks feed it back into the Penguins in around the right side of Igor Kravchuk. Kravchuk shoots it, and it missed the Penguin goal. Around to the left point, Steve Smith of Chicago. Trying to get around Phil Bourque, cut around him now, goes to the corner, centers it back, and it goes to Dirk Graham, who scored both Chicago goals. On to Brent Sutter. Sutter to the center point. The Kravchuk who slams one wide. And the Hawks now watching Larry Murphy trying to poke it up ahead. He can't do it. Grabbed by Steve Smith. Walking towards the net. He goes right in front of Murphy. Reads the play and steals. Larry Murphy back to the Chicago blue line area. He'll come up and he'll shoot it right to the net. And Hasek will make his first save of the night. He replaced Eddie Belfort after the Penguins scored their second goal at 6:33. Steve Smith bounce it up into the Penguin right wing corner. And Steve Larmer of Chicago trying to hold it in. It bounces outside the zone. Jimmy Packett turned him around. Now Steve Smith, the Chicago defenseman. Flip it up towards the Penguin net, and Barrasso is going to glove it, but it was an offside call against Chicago. And now in 5 seconds, Ulf Samuelsson will return to the ice, and the Penguins will have a power play, so that whistle on the offside play actually helped the Pins as Eddie Belfour stares on.
You'll notice that Belfour is still wearing his mask. Normally when a goaltender comes to the bench, he'll take that helmet off and relax, but Belfour basically saying to Mike Keenan, I want to stay in this game and I'm not taking my mask off, and that's the way it works. Belfour often will be very, very adamant about wanting to go back into the game and yell at Keenan and tell him he wants to be back in and they're not going to get anything by him, and he's a competitor, and Mike Keenan knows that. Belfour putting his gloves on now. Keenan just said something as he came down to that end of the bench. He may have been telling him to stay ready. Now Belfour takes his mask off.
May have told him put it away.
You never know.
human being.
6. Liftoff. TLC.
Life unscripted.
Chili's Awesome Blossom. Like, share one.
Now, every time you brush, you can get a massage. The new Crest Advanced Care toothbrush has multi-level cleaning bristles, plus soft massaging tips to help keep gums healthy. New Advanced Care from Crest.
He's a coach,
This time I want to see 3 things.
a teacher, a friend.
You know, what are we trying to make this kid's life impossible?
He's the White Shadow, the classic series now only on ESPN Classic.
From what I hear, you guys need a basketball coach real bad.
This old school pro turned coach shows these inner city high school kids what life's really about. Nobody said it'd be easy, but Ken Howard is
Like a white shadow.
the White Shadow, weekdays at 10, only on ESPN Classic.
You're watching ESPN Classic Central Pennsylvania, showcasing great sports moments from that part of the state.
We're tied at 2 here in the first period. And Larmer and Noonan out here. In a moment, Samuelson will come on. The Penguins peel back into their own end, and let's see if he joins the play here, trying to headman the puck to Yager to Lemieux. Lemieux after the Chicago end, trying to center it back to Yager. He is hit on the play. The pass broken up, but Yager takes over with the puck, going behind the net, around to Lemieux. Man open right point as Ronnie Francis goes to it. Off Samuelson left side. He's open, has the puck. Will he shoot it? Trying to swing it in deep to Kevin Stevens. He's taken out of the play neatly, and the Hawks trying to get it out, and they have it, and Brian Noonan shoots it away. The Penguins at 20% on the power play against Chicago here in this series so far.
Scotty Bowman said today that they worked on some things to try to get the power play going. He wasn't happy with the way it had been going.
3 out of 15, and this is the 16th chance. And Lemieux into the Chicago end. Pulls back. Good drop pass to Murphy. A slap shot. Never got to the net. Now it's free in front. Score! Lemieux! He gives the Penguins a lead. Off Hasek, and Lemieux drills it home on the rebound. And the Penguins have a 3-2 lead. Oh, she wants to sell my monkey. Mario Lemieux after the shot by Larry Murphy. And the Pens score a power play goal. And Chelios has to take that long walk or skate from the penalty box to the bench.
Well, Lemieux had the puck on the right wing boards. He threw it back to the point to Murphy, who drilled it to the net. It got through off Hasek. Hasek down on his back, and Lemieux patiently lifted that puck with a backhand up over Hasek and into the net to give the Penguins the lead again. And Karen Stitt of Pittsburgh is $100 richer on our Iron Man Advantage contest. She gets $100 from Iron City Beer and Mario Lemieux.
So Lemieux, his 16th of the playoffs. Larry Murphy has an assist. And number 25, Kevin Stevens, also assisting on the goal. The Penguins lead 3-2 over Chicago. And Larry Murphy now, the Penguins, fired up the glove at Chelios onto the Chicago zone. Chelios will leave it for Brent Sutter. A lot of scoring here in the opening 20 minutes of play. Dirk Graham comes up. Samuelson got a piece of him and never let him into the zone. Dirk Graham has both scores for Chicago. Now to the left side of the Chicago end. The Pens are offside. 9:17 left here in the first. And already we have 5 goals scored in this game. It is 3-2 Pittsburgh.
This ESPN Classic program is brought to you by TiVo. TV your way.
What about Wednesday?
Yeah, I'd put a sitcom in that time slot. I think.
So anyway, your show's being cancelled.
Cancelled? I just bought a house.
Look at these guys. Network TV programmers. They decide what we watch and when we watch it.
You can't go in there. You have to go to the
Hang on a second. Who needs them? TiVo. TV your way.
There's always a combination of taking your knowledge and applying it. For example, I know who the shooter is. I know what he does, what he thinks, under stress, how he'll act, what's his favorite thing to do, what's his least favorite thing to do. And I got most of my rebounds before he took the shot.
Knowledge is the edge. Call your advisor or Invesco Funds about the Dynamics Fund. You should know. what Invesco knows.
Vince Lombardi once said, if you're not fired with enthusiasm, you'll be fired with enthusiasm. That guy didn't mess around.
What the hell's going on out here?
Lombardi definitely wanted to be the best.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing.
When he was happy, you liked it. When he was mad, you didn't want to be around him.
He took the spirit of the sport and elevated it.
Vince Lombardi, an all-new original episode of Sports Century, tomorrow at 8 on ESPN Classic.
Sports Century, the top 50 and beyond.
You're watching ESPN Classic Central Pennsylvania, showcasing great sports moments from that part of the state.
During an earlier commercial break, we saw Mario Lemieux having a discussion with Rick Kehoe, a long one after he had scored the goal to give the Penguins the lead, talking about something the Hawks were doing. Rick Kehoe has been a guy who's really concentrated on the power play for the Penguins for the last few years. Assistant coach.
Face off left side of the Penguins in. Larmer drags it in deep to the corner. Centers it off to the right point. Now to Chelios. Backhands one towards the goal, and it bounces in. And Barrasso got the glove on that as Ulf Samuelsson knocks down Brian Marchment, the Chicago left winger who's playing up on the wing here tonight.
Well, Marchment is certainly used to the traffic in front of the net because normally he's a defenseman and has to clear guys out of there. So for him to stand in there and bang away is nothing new in front of the goal. Whether or not he can also do that and still find ways to score goals is another thing altogether. Joel Samuelsson had him tied up in front of the net so that Barrasso could glove it, and then Samuelsson dumped him. Nothing called against Dolphy.
Trottier, equal strength now here of both clubs. It goes to Larmer, and he belts one that'll be blocked. The Penguins come up with it. Ronnie Francis with Yager and Trottier at the moment. They dish it off to Yager, who has scored here in this first period. Yarmer dancing with that puck around Larmer. Goes against Kravchuk, got around him, goes behind the net now, trying to ward off the check. Speed it over with the pass to Ulf Samuelsson, too far. And it goes right through traffic all the way to the Penguins here. Samuelsson will lead it up to Trottier, back to the Chicago zone. He comes in and puts a backhander on. That's stopped by Dominic Hasek, the Chicago goaltender, with his glove down, and he makes the save. And play his whistle down. We'll get a face-off in the Chicago zone. Chelios and Trottier now having a pretty good discussion.
Well, when Samuelsson got the puck in his own end, he looked up, and Yager was starting to wheel again at center ice, looking down that right wing. And Samuelsson went to Trottier. He kind of took Chelios with him, Yager did, and Samuelsson was able to find Trottier right up the middle. This was before that when Yager went in on the rush on the right wing and went around